for me as a builder, my relationship with Eddie Bloschinger, after we studied, I feel like I've grown a lot by the greatness of his guitars pushing me to be better in my own build. And when Bernardo was building here in my workshop, his greatness pushed me harder to build better guitars. And I know that you had your brother Angel, who is an all-time great classical guitarist, and I would like to know what it was like when you were young in the same house building as players, and how that influenced you as a player.
That's a difficult question to answer.
Maybe
because
it didn't have the same effect that Bernardo had on me, but just what was it like?
in some ways, I think it is true. But that was more subconscious. Here's what it felt like for me. It started with listening to my father, who to me is the most elegant and refined guitar player that I have ever heard. He was an amazing virtuoso as well. But the purity of his tone and the absolute beauty of his musical phrasing were always, from the time that I was an infant, that's what I grew up with. And that's how I felt, that's how I thought the guitar would sound. So I grew up thinking, having that goal inside of me. That's what I strive for. That's what my head heard. It was his playing. Then Celine. Celine was a very important role model for me, because Celine had always, he was elegant, he was pure, his tonal quality was always gorgeous, and he influenced me also quite a bit. He represented, I could see that there were two sides to the same coin, and that there were different ways that you can interpret. My father was very, very passionate and romantic musician. Celine was a more moderate and straight performer. Through the times, and the words of reviewers, they tried to classify Celine as the romanticist of the quartet. But actually, the romanticist of the quartet was really my father. Celine was, maybe to the critics, was more the romantic because of his looks. Like a typical, he looked like an Italian Latin lover, playing the guitar in a very precise and very rhythmically very straight. But already before I could play like they did, that's what I was looking for. So I was walking a path. Then I got better, and I became pretty much, by the time that I was 7 or 8, I was playing pieces of very, very high level, of the highest level of the technical demands, and I was playing very well. What has changed throughout my career is not so much the way I play, but the way I play things, the interpretation. So then I had Angel, and Angel started to play after I was concertizing, after I was already being recognized and acclaimed as a great, as a child prodigy, and people were raving about the way I was playing. And then here is Angel coming behind me at a very fast pace and grows up to be a monster player. So I was suspended, my career, the effect of the other players around me was, on one side, the consummate artists. In my mind at that time, it was my father and Celine, and then me, and then this one coming behind me, and a part of me, I don't know if I push so he wouldn't catch me, or if I was very happy when he caught me. I think it's a little bit of everything. But I can truly say that if there has been a competition, it has been completely healthy, very much like the way you feel with Edmund Bloshinger and with your nephew Bernardo, where you don't fear the competition of them, but you celebrate their greatness. And that's what I have felt.
Definitely admiration and a feeling of for me, it's a pressure to be as great.
Yes.
In a healthy way, always. And just
and
nothing but joy.
And it's a continuous learning experience.